Tiffany Rosenbaum, and I'm the host of At Home Money. I help moms start their own dream side hustles and businesses, and one way I do that is through sharing successful female-led business stories like the one you're about to hear today. If you want to learn more about working with me or any of the guest speakers, please check out the links in the description. Let's meet today's guest, Angela B. with Holistically Well with Angela. Hi, Angela. How are you?
Good. Hey, Tiffany, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, we have Angela here from Holistically Well with Angela. Tell us a little bit about what your business is and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. I'm a holistic health practitioner, facial analyst, and health coach, and I've been doing this for about 8 years now. And so I kind of got into this just on a whim of things. Didn't wasn't really looking for anything new.
Did you have interest in the topic before you started?
I did. So I actually struggled with a lot of health issues. Um, uh, Energy issues, sleep issues, and I struggled a lot in college. And then it just kind of went downhill. And I really kind of discovered some of the herbs and different things like that that I used within my practice. Probably um, this was about 8 years ago. And so I was
Okay.
introduced through a friend, and I just kind of fell in love with everything.
Yeah. Do you have to have like a degree or anything like that? Or since it's more holistic based, do they not really offer that?
I am not considered a medical doctor by any means. So I'm a certified holistic health practitioner. So
Okay.
I did go to school for this. So there is a lengthy amount of time that you do have to put in the work. But a
Yeah.
lot is, experience driven. And one thing that really set, my schooling and things apart is when I found out about this, one of the nutritional companies that I use, they were already working with a lot of practitioners, holistic doctors, chiropractors, those types of things. And so there was a lot of really good free education that I had. And then
Yeah.
that inspired me to go back to school.
That's awesome. It's always wonderful when you can get some of that education for free. Something I've
Mhm.
been recently dealing with, and I'm sure a lot of other women can relate. I was just recently diagnosed with like menopause. I had a hysterectomy. They're
Mhm.
like, "You're too young," but here I am with the symptoms of that.
Yes, I actually entered perimenopause very early, probably in my mid 30s. And there was a
Hmm.
lot of little like trickle effects, that I look back and I'm like, wow, I wish I would have known this. Or, with my second daughter, my uterus ruptured. And would I
Oof.
have known that, I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, my progesterone was low then. After my first pregnancy, my hair was falling out. I went to the doctor and I said, I know it's normal to lose a lot of hair, but this isn't, and she didn't believe me. We went and got the test done. I had to literally take a glob of hair from the shower and I took it into her and I said, this is not normal. So she finally tested me and then she goes, well, your levels are all normal. And, knowing that, I could have prevented my uterus from rupturing that second pregnancy, but I wasn't
That's
in this field then.
yeah. So, would somebody going through that, would they like take your approach? Would they do that instead of like hormone replacement therapy, or would they do it hand in hand?
So the nice thing, about it is that, I think that there is great ground for medical doctors and um, I was diagnosed with congenital heart disease. I was born with it. And so I think there is definitely room for Western medicine and Eastern medicine. And so for what I do, I'm looking at the foundations of health. So I'm really looking at your water intake, your movement, your nutrition and things like that, like how you're eating and what
Mhm.
you're putting into your body, what chemicals you're really exposed to. And so if we can really look at some of those factors and adding in herbal supplementation and different things, there is room for both. And so, I always tell people, work with your doctors. I'm definitely willing to work with them because there's a
Yeah.
time and place for both. But I do have some people that say, hey, I want to go a natural route. I'm not going towards HRT or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
And so I can address hormones naturally. And so that's kind of what I specialize in.
That's awesome. What other kinds of issues that women face do you help, and do you help any issues with that men may face too?
I do. So a lot of times, I tend to attract the most difficult cases, which is funny because when I first started out, I had people coming to me and they're like, "Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that?" And I was new to just learning my herbs and different things like
Yeah.
that, and I had some amazing mentors and support behind me, and so I did the research and different things like that, and um, I do tend to get a lot of people with digestive issues, which
Mhm.
really, in reality, holistic wellness, everything comes down to our gut. Our gut is our
Yeah.
second brain. And so this is where, everything that we're feeding it is directly, it goes to the brain, it goes to everywhere in the body. It's telling other areas of the body what to do.
Yeah.
And so, yes, so I work with, digestive issues. I work with a lot of people that, have the brain fog, memory issues. I have some people in here that are looking to, if they've been diagnosed with something from their doctor. I don't work in diagnosis. I work with the
Yeah.
whole body approach. So,
Okay.
I'm taking that and not, I always tell people, don't claim your diagnosis because you can reverse it.
Yeah. Now, can some of your treatments be done with children too, or is what you do specialized
Mhm.
with adults only?
I work with children as well. So, I specialize working with adults, but the one thing that, I've learned too is, with both of my daughters, they were both born premature. So my first one was born about 2 months early. I had severe preeclampsia, and so she actually came out. She was about 3 pounds, 1 ounce, like literally from my
Oh,
elbow to my wrist, and she was in the NICU for about 5 weeks. And so
okay.
she had a lot of digestive issues and she had a lot of lung issues. And so she was diagnosed with asthma when she was in, I think, second grade. But it was one of those things where I was able to get her off of her inhalers. And, she's doing fine now. It doesn't, but she was one of these that any sickness when she was under 2, her oxygen would dip and we would be in the hospital. And
Oh,
so it was
no.
very scary. So she'd be, we had to be very mindful with her health when she was younger. And, the supplements that I use for myself are safe for children. So that I love that. And I kind of know whether if I want to go to a tincture or whatever to make it easier on the parents, those types of things. It's what I implement with my children too.
That's awesome. I know a lot of parents are gonna wanna be curious about that.
Hmm.
People more and more these days are looking at the more natural remedies. You never know what's in our ingredients
Hmm.
anymore. I'm gonna talk a little bit, just briefly, since this is more of a business-focused podcast and your growth and
Hmm.
everything, and we wanna share your success story. But I know a lot of moms in this situation, they're wanting to know, hear from women who maybe are in the same situation. You said you have 2 daughters, right?
Hmm. Yes,
You're
I do.
married or
I
single?
am. Yes, I'm
Alright,
married.
perfect. So you've got the whole family, so you're working on how to balance it all and stuff. So, you said you got started about 8 years ago, um,
Hmm.
and are you more of a home-based business, or do you have, like, a spa that people go to?
No, so I actually have a home office. You can see it's actually this room here. And this room actually used to be the playroom. So I definitely shed some tears when I
Oh,
was transitioning, and because this held so many great memories. And I did homeschool my oldest daughter for 1 year in kindergarten. So, looking back, like, they even love to cater to this room. If they know I'm working in here, they're gonna sit in the chairs behind me and talk to me at the end of the day.
got one of those
Yep.
too, I totally
You've
get
got your
it.
office too, yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
mhm.
So, you know, um, what was the question? Sorry.
Just if you had a home-based office or if you were in
Okay.
like, a spa or any other type of
Hmm.
place where
I like to keep it, I've been asked to venture out into other office space, and currently, I haven't found any business that really just aligns with my viewpoints with
Mhm.
some of my holistic medicine. And so I also want to keep it affordable for my clients. And by doing that, this, it works out perfectly. And a lot of my business is referral based too. So people that have worked with me know me and they're referring their friends and family and different people.
Yes, that's wonderful. Actually, the main program that I run is called At Home Money Moms, and I teach moms how
Hmm.
to make money from home. So that's
Uh,
wonderful that you have like a more job that people would think would be out of the home,
hmm.
but you still found a way to make it home based and you
Hmm.
can be there for your children and work hand in hand with them playing behind you. I don't know. I think to me as a mom, that's what the dream's all about, right?
Hmm. Yeah, and most of the time my kids are, it's usually if I'm just doing paperwork when they're here. Otherwise, they're not here when I'm having clients.
I totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it. So what were the biggest challenges you faced when you were starting your business?
I think, the biggest challenge too, when starting out is lack of confidence. I knew my products, I knew the information, I knew how I felt with them, I knew how, my clients felt with the products. But I think sometimes, it was just that lack of self-confidence of not thinking I was enough and taking to heart, if somebody decided to go a different direction, that was okay. But I also sometimes took it personally when I knew it had nothing to do with me.
That can definitely be hard. What did you do to overcome that?
I think a lot of it was growth, and I had some wonderful mentors. If any woman is, looking at starting her own business, or if they are looking to, if they're currently in business, I think it's wonderful to have a mentor or somebody that has years ahead of you. And just having that mentor, and whether you're meeting with them weekly or whether if you have a question you can call them, I think that's the biggest area where you're going to learn the most.
Yeah. I I totally agree with that. When I was starting my business, I was trying to do everything alone. And then
Mhm.
when I started incorporating like others that I could, bounce my ideas off of that were in the same mindset as me, it just opened a world. It made it so much easier. So I can totally relate as well. How did you get your first customers and clients?
Social media is a big, like, I think, looking back to, I feel like more people are probably getting off of social media now. I think there's still people that utilize it, not to say that they aren't. But I think social media was a big factor. So sharing my story, sharing my personal story of how I was feeling better, how I got my sleep back, my energy was better. People saw that and they wanted that. And, when they were looking for things, it's easy to, be searching for something, but if they honestly know you and if they trust you, they're more
Mhm.
willing to work with you.
Yeah. Did you have like a free group or anything like that where you would like, maybe post information to build that know like trust factor?
I did. So I started with a private Facebook page, and I still have that page still because I actually have a business page as well. But a lot of my educational information is in there, and I also liked it just because it was a private community and it was specific to people that really wanted to learn, and
Mhm.
then they could invite their friends if, but that was a area where I did giveaways, occasionally like monthly giveaways. I did, a recipe each week, a healthy recipe, because, I found that moms like my age or younger or older, they're struggling to figure out what's on the table for dinner. They're like,
Oh,
sometimes we
yeah.
just get in this burnout mode where we're like, okay, well, what's a good recipe that's healthy that my family will eat? And so, finding those little things that I was looking for that I know somebody else is looking for those too, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was just posting in all the groups this morning, what's your favorite crock pot recipe that kids will like?
Yeah.
Um, are you still actively posting in that group?
I am. So I do have that group, and I also have a business page on Facebook as well as an Instagram. So I'm probably not as active as much on Instagram. I kind of come and go because between seeing clients and my family's activities in the evening and sports and all the things,
Mhm.
and running a house, it's time consuming. So I try to plug in where I can.
That's awesome. Do you mind sharing them with the
Sure.
listeners today, and I can put them in the description for them?
Yes, yes. My Instagram handle is Holistically Well with Ange. And then the Facebook page, it's actually a private page. It should be under Holistically Well, Angela Bruszewski. And then my business Facebook page is just Holistically Well, LLC.
That's wonderful. I
Hmm.
will link those in the description for all of the viewers to check out afterwards. Do
Hmm.
you have any hired help? Have you ever hired any assistants or any marketing help? Or are you a one woman show?
I am a one-woman show. So I will say that I have really plugged in with some excellent, groups here and there. And the Crossroads Chamber in Maryville, Crown Point area. It's wonderful because it does represent all of Northwest Indiana. So you're meeting so many people, you're plugging in, you're meeting men and women and just making those connections. So I've been a part of that organization for probably 4 years or so. And then as far as marketing and things like that, I've plugged into a couple different trainings here and there throughout my career. And so as much as I love social media, it's kind of a love-hate relationship for me
Same.
because there's some things that I enjoy. But it's just, they're a different breed. Sometimes, Instagram is totally different than the Facebook world.
And
So
they're owned by the same people.
yes, and you try to cross stream like, so you're not like spending so much time on one thing. And I've learned to really differentiate, what I'm going to post on Facebook for educational purpose versus Instagram.
Yeah.
So they're two totally different breeds.
Do you ever use AI like ChatGPT to help you figure out what to post and when?
Yes. So if I have an idea in my head and if I have like a post started, like usually what I'll do is just start a post and then I will plug it into ChatGPT and I'll have like, I'll put in an intro grab attention grabbing title and then use this verbiage and and I get it very detailed to how I'm keeping my original post to continually sound like me because I want it to be my words. I just want to tweak it just a little bit and then have a good call to action so that I can reach my viewers because you know going back to the psychology of things, sometimes it takes our brains 3 times to see something till we actually want to put it into action.
Yes. Yes. I had a question and it totally jumped away from me. Um, Here's it. I'm reading my sheet here. How long
You're
did it
fine.
take you before you were making a consistent income?
I would say within my first year, for sure. I feel like, I built my business of doing a lot of free discovery calls. Like I'd say, first I'd get on the phone with them, and then I found first I was spending a lot of time. I'd find that I was spending an hour of my time with people, and it was kind of taking away from my family a little bit in the evenings. And I
Yeah.
just found that I was like, I don't have this good work family balance, right?
Mhm.
And so then I started kind of shortening the calls to like, a 15-minute intro call. And then I kind of built that into my health consultations. And so as I gradually built my business.
Yeah. Were you working like a different job out of the house while you were building your business, or were you
S-
just focusing on this?
So I was actually just focusing on this, but I was a stay-at-home mom. So my girls are 2 years apart. So, they were my youngest, I think at the time, she was probably 4. I would
Yeah.
say around 3 or 4. Maybe she could have been 2. I don't know, around there. So they were really young. So, but I think it was super important for me to have something for me and something that I enjoyed and that I also felt like God was calling me to that purpose
Yeah.
and to help people with their health because I saw so many people social media is one of those where people just voice their opinion, their voice what they're struggling with. And I saw so many people just not being able to sleep. And I could really resonate with them because I remember those mornings of, not waking, going to bed fine and then waking up at like 1 or 2 in the morning and being awake for 3 hours. And
Yeah.
then, finally falling back asleep or not falling back asleep and having to get up with my girls who are like babies and toddlers and trying to be present with them. And when I saw other people really struggling, that just like struck a chord, and I knew that I needed to be able to pour into them somehow.
Yeah, that's very admirable. And every woman, I think, deserves to feel what you described, that feeling of just having something for yourself, but also something that you can be passionate about and make an income
Hmm.
doing. I absolutely love that. And that's actually my passion, to help women find that.
Hmm.
um, do you have any like online courses, or like is your target audience only women in the local community, or do you can you reach people outside of the local community?
So I actually work virtually. So I have a couple clients. I have one client that's down in Tennessee. I have one in Nevada. So I do work virtually as well. And my hometown is about 2 hours away. So I have clients there. So even this afternoon, I typically just will do a Zoom call. And one thing that's nice too is that if I need to send out a saliva hormone panel, it gets mailed to them. If I'm testing for pH test results, which is just showing upper and lower digestion and things like that, I'm able to just mail them the things or mail them products too. So it is definitely workable doing virtual as well.
That's absolutely wonderful. What kinds of, just as a business owner, that aspect of it, what kinds of like, how do I want to phrase this? What kind of income streams do you have? Like, do you, so you said you do some Zoom, so you have like live coaching. Do you also have products? Do you charge, by the hour? How does that look like on your end
Mhm.
to bring the income in?
Sure. So I charge for an hourly consultation, and then I also have products. So I actually have a lot of different product lines that I offer. I don't always advertise so many because when people see so many products, they're going to get super overwhelmed. But I do have a couple, some of the products I carry in my office, so it's coming directly from me. And then some of them are literally a link. So whether they order in the office here, it gets mailed to them, and then they can reorder online. So I would say I have at least, 5 different streams of income. And then I also offer services here. So if I'm doing, I have a professional grade red and blue light therapy. I also have a Beamer mat, which is a medical grade 2 device. Both of those are medical grade. Ionic foot detoxes and a chi machine. So I have those 4 services out of my office. That is also income as well coming from there.
That's wonderful. How did you fund your business in the beginning?
So you know. When I first started out, it was literally through one supplement company. And so we had a link there where people just went through there, and then you basically on the back end get a commission.
Yeah.
So that was kind of there. The first thing I got for myself was my foot detox because I'd heard so many things, and then there was a lot of debunking it. And, but there's still people that are like, I don't know if I believe that. And I said, all right, come in for a free foot detox. And then the guy didn't come. So I'm like, okay. So, but there are articles out there, showing that it works. I've personally experienced, I know what to look for. I
Yeah.
feel better with it, sinuses are open, those types of things. But, I would say when just investing little small things and thinking about what's going to bring you the most income. Because my in-light therapy was an expensive item because it was a medical grade. And so
Yeah.
I could start out slow. So, I could either start by getting 2 or 3 pads for it and then adding on, or I could get the 5 pads and get a bigger discount and things like that. So,
Yeah.
there was options to choose how I wanted to implement my business and what was going to be one, I could personally use it for myself, which was great, right? But and it also doubles for the family. I was like, wow, well, if they have a cold or something, I can pop, my oldest or youngest on it for the lung support and get rid of that cough pretty quickly. So,
So the light therapy helps with that?
yeah,
Yeah. See,
it's
I'm
pretty amazing.
definitely not educated in any of that at all. So I'm totally like, I'd be one of those moms who'd be like, all right, give me all the education because I
hmm
want to know it. Did you find that once you educated people more on it, they were more
hmm
likely to purchase your products, or were most of your customers, were they already like problem and solution aware?
A lot of people, they don't have a lot of knowledge about holistic wellness, but there will be some people that come to me and they're like, hey, I've been doing XYZ. But there's also some areas to critique or for them to further their education a little bit. Because, not everybody should be cleansing, totally honest.
Yeah.
But, and I could definitely dive deeper into that, but I won't because I know this is, more geared towards the
Another
business.
day,
But
maybe another day.
yeah.
Do you offer types of educational, like, courses online or, anything like that? Like, or do you just offer, like, the services?
I offer the services, but if you go into my Instagram, if you go into my personal health or health page on Facebook,
Yeah.
those are going to be the areas I really educate the most. But I would say booking your health consultation, learning your body for you, that's where you're going to plug in and find the most education. But I do have a couple of little freebies on my website. So I have like a free hormonal health guide that's on my website. If you go to my website, there is blogs and different articles about the best water type. Movement, like lots of different things that are very, educational for every single person.
Hmm. Yeah. I did check out your website a little bit earlier and through all the different pages, and it's fascinating.
Mhm.
Um, have you created any of your own products, or are you more of like an affiliate?
I would say I don't work in creating a lot of my products because I'm looking for the best blends of different
Mhm.
things. I have created hand sanitizer, a lotion, you know what I mean? Like little fun things here for myself or little gifts for clients or something like that. But that's to the like the most that I've done.
Yeah.
Um, I have looked into some Bach flower remedies, but it's one of those things where, I just don't have all the time in the world, so I really have to pick and choose. And my niche is I love people. And so to sit down and one-on-one, that's my bread and butter.
Yeah. That's awesome too, though. Good job. How did you go about finding the right price point for your services and your products? Did you go off of what other people were charging? Did you start out lower when you were first starting out to get some testimonials, or what did that journey look
Hmm.
like for you?
Yeah, when I first started, I would say that I kind of looked around to see if anybody was offering a similar experience, a foot detox, or what that looked like for them. And then I kind of priced as far as my area. So,
Mhm.
I mean, and even now, could I raise my prices? Yes. But I will still want to make it affordable for people.
Mhm.
Because I am in holistic wellness, I'm not covered by insurance. And so, there are bigger, businesses and things like that where they offer multiple things, their prices are going to be driven a lot higher.
Yeah.
And so I think by being a home office, I'm not having to be a brick and mortar office where I'm having to pay rent every month and those types of things. So, and I know on the back end, people are still going to be putting in money into their supplements or testing. And my goal is that to not come see me all the time, but for them to get the education and run with it and, continue with their supplements, continue with their nutritional choices and things like that.
Yeah.
So ideally, sending them on a path that they can be, successful in.
Yeah. Have you ever dealt with people maybe questioning your legitimacy or your authority on the topic just because you are at home and not,
Mhm.
in an office somewhere else?
Yes, I've had people, sometimes they'll say, well, where's your office located? And I'm always upfront with them when they schedule. I said, I do have a home office, just so you're aware. I mean, it's labeled out there. And I said, right when you walk in my door, my office is right there. So it's totally what you're comfortable with. And they'll either say yes or no, or they'll cancel or whatever. But then I have had some people that come to the initial visit and I can honestly tell what type of stress conditions they're in. We'll put it that way. Because if they can't make eye contact with me or they're asking all the questions, and they're here and they're obviously not feeling well, they're taking a lot of supplements, but nothing's working for them. And sometimes they do question my supplements or, well, why this or why that? And so I tell them why, I can't attest to what you're using because if you brought that supplement to me, I could tell you what was wrong with it, right?
Mhm.
And so some people are always going to question, but I look back and not everybody's meant for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And so if they're meant for me, then they'll want to work with me, but I don't have to justify myself to anyone.
Yeah. That's a really good outlook, and I'm sure it takes
Hmm.
a lot of growth to be able to have that mindset,
Hmm.
so I applaud you for that. What do you have any plans to scale or grow your business? Are you kind of content where it is for now?
Yes. So right now I'm continuing furthering my education, which I always do. Like once a week, I get on with my mentor for about a 2-hour call. So we're always learning more about hormones, digestion, all the things, little, self home hacks that we can, monitor our thyroid or whatever that looks like. So I love just continuing my education. So for now, I'm just kind of setting back and like, I'm not doing a lot of like advertising or, marketing or anything like that. I still post and share my education pieces here and there. But for now, while I'm in school, I'm just kind of like laying back and I'm trying to just kind of take care of everybody that I have now.
Yeah.
And then, I also look at it is that, I shut down by 4 o'clock. Like by 4 o'clock, I'm a mom, my kids get home,
Mhm.
and, I still take evening appointments as well. But I think the biggest thing too is, um, setting aside and balancing that work home life. It can be very hard, especially working from home because you technically, we all have phones now and they all have emails and you're connected constantly. And so, knowing that there is no emergency. And so, if there is a real big emergency, they can go to an ER and they know that.
Yeah.
But I'm also available that if I see something on a weekend, I will respond,
Mhm.
um, but my clients are really good about that too, though.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it's I
Hmm.
just recently, well, not recently, in the last year or so, switched to an iPhone and from a Samsung, and it's
Hmm.
great that it's got that work mode, that do not disturb
Hmm.
mode. So if you're working or if you're having family time, then you can put that on and set those boundaries that aren't necessarily always easy to make when you do have a job like we do.
Hmm.
um, what is one book, podcast, or resource that really helped you grow as an entrepreneur?
Oh, okay. So I'm going to be honest. I'm terrible. I like podcasts,
Okay.
but I'm terrible about doing, hold on. I did go to something like a year or two ago. Um, I'm going to look up his name. His name's Ed, and he is amazing. He's got a podcast, so I have listened to his. And I want to say it's Ed Milan. I'm going to have to double check that one. Um, but he was a really good podcast, and he just shares his story at Milet. Yeah, Ed Milet, and
How
he's
do
an
you spell that?
entrepreneur as well. So it's Edmylett. And
All
he
right.
talks about how to unlock your ultimate potential. I would say I saw him in person along with Tim Tebow. Who else was it? And it was a Christian conference.
Mhm.
It's funny, when I went, I didn't realize it was how to build your business. And my friend and I signed up for it, and I saw Priscilla Shire was going to be there, and I'm like, this would be really great to pour in. And then I like found out it was building your business and all this stuff, and I was like, well, it's perfect for us.
Yeah.
So it was actually a really good conference, all-day conference that I went to, and I got to meet Priscilla. We actually somehow won like this lucky draw and got to go behind the scenes and meet everybody. I didn't get to
Ooh,
meet Ed, but he was an amazing speaker, and literally left you with tears. So.
that's always a fun time. I'm
Mhm.
sure you had a blast. Um, what's one thing you wish you knew when you started? Like if you could go back in time and be
Mhm.
like, I wish I knew this, what would it be?
Um, I think timing is everything.
Mhm.
Um, I think that, getting that specific outline of a plan of what you want your business to look like. And there were many times that, in my mentorship within, our group teams and stuff, we wrote ourselves a letter. And we wrote ourselves a letter to see where we want to see ourselves within a year. And you're not allowed to open that letter. You put it in an envelope, seal it, and you don't open it until you're like a year. And then I go back and I think I still have like one of the letters in my drawer, two of the letters at least. And it was really, inspirational because it's like you're writing a letter to yourself. Look how far you've come, you've done this, and you write out those future goals. And then you're like, did I achieve those goals? You know what? Yeah, I did achieve that goal, or I'm not there yet on this goal, or I've surpassed this. So it really just kind of helps give you some motivation. So I definitely recommend writing yourself a letter, making an outline, a plan of what you want your business to look like, but really getting that education in before launching or anything like that. Because I know some people will, they have they're excited and they're just, jumping into things. I think it's important to really just get that education under your belt before you're changing a niche or doing anything else.
Yeah. And they do say that when you write something down, I think you're like, I don't remember what the percentage is. I want to say 80 and I could be wrong, but like crazy amount higher, more likely to achieve it just because like you took,
Hmm.
a pen and paper and you wrote it down. You like somehow bring it to life. So I'm sure that that probably helped you really succeed too. But that's a fun sounding thing to try. I should totally try that. I'm sure that it would be
And even
interesting
just
to read.
yeah, leave a sticky note on the mirror of like, a good affirmation or a Bible verse or something that is inspiring to you.
Yeah. My favorite affirmation, I think, right now that I have it written on my wall too, is you can do hard things.
Hmm.
And that's just something I've been kind of telling myself when something's hard and I don't want to do it. No, you could do hard things. And I say it
Hmm.
to my kids too all the time. They're like, I don't want to. This is hard. I'm like, you can do hard things.
Yes.
What's one business tool you can't live without?
Canva. Oh my gosh, I love Canva. It's super. For when I first got into it, I was like, I don't know. I'm like, this is, I'm having issue, and then you just learn it and you love it. And I love the marketing side of it. So if you need me to create something or a post or whatever it is, I love it. So it's a great
Yeah,
tool.
it's in my toolbox too. My mom's also a business owner. I'm always, Mom, you need to get on Canva. And she's like, no,
Hmm.
no. I'm like, you could do everything with it. It's
Hmm.
fantastic. What does a typical workday look like for you?
So typically, I get up in the morning. I have a coaching app that I utilize for certain clients if they're doing a certain program. So I will get up on Monday mornings and look at those results. I'm looking at your analysis, and so making sure that everything's in line. I'm looking at their food tracker, if they're looking for weight loss or what it looks like, doing all that, and then of course responding to emails. And then I usually start my day around 10 o'clock. Well, I start my day earlier, but my actually in-person appointments usually around 10 a.m. And then, I'm working whether it's health consultation or somebody coming in for light therapy, or, to utilize the Beamer mat, whatever that looks like. And then, you know, typically, sometimes like today I have a networking lunch that I'm going to. So I'm there for that. And then I come back and I have more appointments. So it's fun if I don't, depending on my appointments, if I have a gap in something, maybe I'm running to the store, maybe I'm throwing in some laundry. That's another
Yeah.
perk of working from home.
I think I'm just going to ask just a few more easy ones for the end and then we'll be
Sure.
done.
Okay.
Where can people find you? Well, we already talked about that, but um, you said we could link your email and all of that
Mhm.
in the description. Do you ever offer any types of sales or discounts? I know Thanksgiving's coming up. Are you going to be offering any
Yes.
types of deals for customers or new customers?
Yes. Well, I was actually going to say if they're watching this podcast, if they want to mention your podcast, when they call me, and they will get $10 off any service. So this can be a health consultation, this could be in light therapy, the Beamer mat, the Chi machine, or a foot detox too. So any of those services, they would get $10 off.
That's that's great. Thank you so much. So listeners, check her out. Do you have any final words of encouragement for moms who are on the fence about starting a business?
I would say, the biggest thing too is just don't compare yourself to other people. You can look at other accounts and be like, okay, I really like that, or, that's a good idea. Um, but the biggest thing too is, sometimes when I first started, it's like I started feeling like I wasn't enough, or I wasn't
Mhm.
educated enough, or not good enough. And so just don't compare yourself to other businesses. You're just starting out and you are your own person. And so you will find your path and what your niche is and what you love. And the more you speak from your heart and the more you speak about your business and what it's done for you and your personal story, that's going to resonate with someone. So I would say definitely start there.
Those are good words of advice, and I know just as a mom in general, not necessarily as an entrepreneur, we
Hmm.
tend to do that a lot, We look at somebody's highlight reel and think it's the story of their life, and it's just their best moments,
Yeah.
and then we compare it to our worst moments, and it's a terrible thing to do for you, but
Hmm.
that's one of the cons of social media.
Yes, I agree.
Do you do you have, any last things that you wanna say or any questions for me before we get off here?
I don't think so. I think we covered it all.
Good. It was so good to meet you, and I'm so glad to have you on. And everybody, go check out her social media, go check out her website, and book your sessions. She's absolutely wonderful. Thank you for being on here.
All right, sounds good. Thank you
All
so
right.
much.